Okay, so let's stretch our paper. I'm gonna wet the front, wet the back. Yeah, so, you know, I like to stretch my paper this way. It's just a personal preference. When I'm doing nice, like loose paintings, this is the way I do it. You know, when you guys are painting your own stuff, you know, you can stretch your paper any way you like.
How do you get your paper to be nice and flat afterwards? If you actually want to frame something.
I've been meaning to post a video to do the framing and matting and everything. I just haven't had time to do it, but when I post that video, I will send you guys a link to that video, and you can see how I do my matting, and it's a process to get it matted and framed. Yeah. But anyways.
Don't really drench your paper. It looks lightly wet.
It's yeah, it's pretty drenched. There are no more dry spots.
No, but
Yeah,
not dripping wet.
not dripping wet, but it'll be fine if it was dripping wet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it'll be fine. You just have to wait a little bit longer before you start painting, but it'll be fine. Okay. So on my palette. Grab a brush. I'll grab a medium-sized brush here. And what I'm going to do is to get a nice shade of dust and sand. So we're going to use some yellow ochre. We'll use some burnt sienna and some sepia today. And probably some Paynes gray. So those are the colors that I think we're gonna use. So our light source is gonna come from this way, right? So I'm gonna leave this side of the painting a little bit brighter, and then this side of the painting is gonna be a little bit darker. So we'll start like that. Maybe a little bit lighter, so I'm just gonna put some yellow ochre on this side. And we're just gonna use some water to move some of this paint over. It's okay if you cover up your elephant, because he's a darker shade of burnt sienna and sapia, so it'll be fine if we cover him up. I'm gonna use a little bit of burnt sienna here.
What was that top left color?
This is just a wash of sepia and yellow ochre mixed. Yeah, so here's my burnt sienna. Here's our reference photo. Elephant's a little bit of a burnt sienna color. And then we will go ahead and fill them in. Let's get some yellow ochre and burnt sienna. We'll do some of the sand here like that. Maybe a little bit of red. Let's add a little bit of crimson here. Just to spice it up a bit. Okay, so something like that for our wash.
Sepia on the top left, and then burnt sienna and ochra
Yeah, so sepia and yellow ochre is kind of up here, and then burnt sienna is here, and a little bit of crimson. And then watch what I do here. So his trunk is white, so I'm just going to take some color paint off of his trunk there. Okay. And we'll let that dry for a second, and then we'll go back in, and then we will paint around this white tusk here. Like so. If your paint starts running back into the tusk, you didn't wait long enough. Okay, so just be patient. Give it a minute, you know, and it should stay white. It should, but it doesn't always. Okay, yeah.
If we don't have sepia, is there...
I've got some. I've got some for you guys to borrow. I think, you know what? I think this guy needs a little bit more color. 'Cause we're painting an elephant.
We're pretty zoomed in now.
We were painting an elephant, so elephants aren't white. They're kind of brownish. Sepia, burnt sienna color. So we will go ahead and add some flavor to our elephant here. Okay, so that's our wash. We'll let that sit and dry.
See, it's really wet. Let's see.
You guys don't have sepia? Oh, you grabbed the wrong one. I thought there was sepia. Oh, it's way up there. I'll give you some fresh. Yeah. Who else needs my sepia? This one has sepia.
There's some ones that I do like.
Yeah, yellow ochre. Yeah.
Okay, so who needs yellow ochre? Yellow ochre. Okay, here we go.
And you're still recording.
No, I'm not. Am I? Oh, I am, so record so I don't forget. Okay. So yeah, it's I blew dry my paper just a bit. My painting's still a little bit damp, but I think I can get away with starting my next layer. See, I've got some runs into the trunk here, but you know, I think that just creates more interest than anything else. So I really don't mind that. If you guys, you know, If you guys don't like that, then when you dab it off with your napkin, just let it dry longer, and then go back, and this will be in better shape. But everyone has their different, likes their paintings, their own style. So I like mine to be imperfect. That way I don't fuss too much about it. Grab another brush here. So I'm gonna use my synthetic brush because my paper is a little bit wet. I don't want it to bleed too much. So synthetic's great because it doesn't hold as much water, and when I start painting, it won't bleed as much. Okay, so let's start with the airs. What color I'm gonna use? I'm gonna use Sapia. And my Sapia is gonna be quite light. It's just a wash, okay? The Sapia it is quite strong when you put it down, so it's just a wash. You see how wet it is there, right? And if I want it to be stronger, I can just go into my pan and take it from there and paint. Okay? So we'll start with the ears. Because I'm right-handed, I paint left to right. I'll start with the ears, some wrinkles there. Something like that. This is an older elephant. His ears are quite beaten up. So I'll start with that. I'm gonna get some water. I'm going to touch the edges of that paint.
And pull it.
Yeah, I would just want to soften this edge, right? Because I don't want a hard edge. And looking at the texture of this elephant's ears, having the water create that texture is what I'm trying to do. Just going to do the top of the ears there. And then there's his what do you call it? The opening to his tusks, or the part I don't even know what part of the elephant that is. Mouth? Tusk holders? Cheeks? Jaws? Yeah. Yeah, this is not a bio class, so I don't have to know all the words. Anyways, okay, we'll continue with he's got some wrinkles coming up like this, so we'll fill them in. So layer 2, right? So we're doing all these parts that are about the same shade, and we're gonna use the same technique. We're gonna fill in the dark areas. And if it's not dark enough, I'll just go into my tray and pick up some darker paint. I'm gonna go in with some water and just lightly touch the edges and get that paint to flow into this area. And same here. I'll just get the Sapia to flow into his face.
Cover his eye.
Yeah, I'm just following the shadows here. outside area on the tusks here, so I'll just...
So you're leaving a line between here and
Here? Yeah, there's a bit of a white line there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm leaving a line so I don't get too much bleeding happening there. So it's a good way to keep your separation when you're doing wet on wet. Yeah, anyways, so that's how I do it. And then we've got these wrinkles here. I'm just going to go ahead and do these wrinkles. I'm just following what I have on my drawing. You just painting the dark parts here.
Fairly thick.
And then go back with some water just to soften some of what I've put down. And then we've got his leg here, which is all in shadow. So quite dark, right? Just the beginning of his tusks are pretty dark, so we'll some wrinkles leading to his trunk. And then down here, I'm just gonna stop at his knee, because I want this to be dusty, right? So stop at his knee, and I'm just gonna pull this down with water. Maybe even hit this higher area with a drop of water, and get this to create some dust here.
Ooh, there it goes.
You guys okay? And then it doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, that's the great part about painting and art is, you know, if you want it to be perfect, then just take a photo. You're like,
I agree.
okay. And then down here is just a trunk, and same idea, right? We're going to soften like that. Oh, I paused for some reason. Oh, there we go. And then we're just gonna create a bit of a dust storm down here. Okay. And while we're down here, we might as well do this dark shadow on his hind leg. We will follow through with that. He's got, there's his front legs that kind of have some wrinkles, like something like that. But those are the darkest areas on this elephant, so not bad, not too difficult, right? Okay. I'm just softening some of these hard lines. Like, it's easier to make a hard line than it is to remove it, so we'll just get rid of it before it dries. And if we do need a hard line up there, we can always add it in once, you know, once your painting's done, right? Yeah. Something like that. Okay, so I think you guys can handle this. We've done lots of this in class with our other paintings, right? So Yeah, so this is how, you know, same thing with these airs. They're not as quite as dark as this left side of the elephant. But same idea, just a lighter wash of this Sapia. And then with some water, we can soften some of this up. Okay. Oh, his eyes are a little bit darker, so we'll do a little bit on his eyes there. But yeah, here you go. Let you guys tackle that part. All right, so I'm gonna use the same brush. And let's do some details now. Let me grab it. You guys remember how to use two brushes, right? You got one paintbrush and one softening brush. So I've got two brushes about the same size. And we're gonna use some Sapia and some Paynes gray. Whoops, oh, that's great. That looks good. All right, anyways. It adds character. All right, so I've got my two paint colors there. Try to keep it. I like to try to keep my paints separate instead of mixing it all in one. We do get, you know, we've done it before. We do get a better result at the end when we keep everything separate, right? So, yeah, touch some Sapia, get some Paynes gray, and here we go. We're gonna add a little bit more detail to our elephant. He's got his ears going there. All right. And then we can go in and soften some of this up. And if you didn't add enough shadow before, you can put some more in now. So that's what we're doing. This next layer is just darkening our shadows. It's both. It's Paynes gray and Sapia mixed up together. Let me zoom in. Yeah. You see, it's not too dark. All right. It's and now with this white line that we left to separate our paints before, we can cover it up now, if you want. If you want. The reason why we kept it separate is so these different grades of shading will stay separate. It is an important step. Otherwise, you will just get another wash layer, right? If you don't keep your shapes separated. And if you want to do any kind of veining, you just leave a little bit of a white space like that. We'll get some veins in there. Okay, so that's how you would create any of these veins and stuff. So on like if you want to go really detailed, you know, you can spend a whole day doing the airs and all the veins and all that stuff. But we don't have all day. We only have a class, so we'll skip that. Then we've got this shading here. And this should be a little bit softer, so I'm just gonna go in and touch it with some water. But anyways, so that's how you would do the next layer. And then this one we'll do. Maybe some of the wrinkles on this old elephant here. And he's got, we'll put some detail on the eyes. I totally lost the eyes on my drawing here, so I'll just fake it. Totally black there.
It's like a bird.
Yeah, almost. A lot easier than the bird eyes, I think. All right. And then his trunk, we can, we've got some of it done with our previous layer. We can add a little bit more detail with this layer. And then the trunk, or sorry, the tusk, he's got, it's just a light wash here. Just a light wash for the shadow of the tusks. But it's nice, it's a nice hard shadow, so it's a hard shape. We want to soften the shadow, and it comes up like so, and that's the tusk. And then we'll do the other tusk. Something like that. think we want to darken up. I'll darken up this other side of our elephant. Mine's a little bit too light, so I am going to darken it up a bit. So I'll just hit it with a light wash
Sienna.
of raw, just raw sienna mixed with the Sapia. Is this color's the same shade as the background, so I just want it to stand out just a little bit. All right, cool. You guys can tackle that. Just like it like that. You're done.